Hello, I'm Greg from Balloon Market, and today I'm joined by Mark from Qualatex, Pioneer. Mark, thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
And today Mark is going to show us and tell us a little bit more about the benefits and the features of this amazing piece of equipment. So Mark, over to you.
Fantastic. So this is the dual split second sizer by Conwin.
Yep.
And it is a tool to consistently size and inflate bubbles, foil balloons and Qualatex latex balloons. And it will obviously inflate and size your balloon once it's been set up correctly.
So basically it's a timer that just sets it and it becomes a particular size.
Exactly. And it's probably easiest to show you by actually inflating it. It comes with a hose directly to attach to the cylinder. Mm-hmm. It can be attached to helium, nitrogen or air. On this occasion we're going to do helium balloons, so it's attached to that. And we've set it up at the back at a set pressure, inlet pressure.
Yeah. Okay. So you can change that?
You can change that. Most people don't, once they're comfortable with the pressure that they work with, then make their sizing adjustments by changing the time.
Is there any reason you'd have a higher pressure or lower pressure?
Speed of work. So if you really want fast inflation and you're on a decoration job and you want it to be working at its optimum speed, by increasing the pressure you decrease the time that's needed to inflate an 11-inch balloon to 11 inches.
I see. Okay, so this would change the timings.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
So there's a combination of two. To be fair, each machine is slightly different. So you'll set that up once you've set your machine by testing a few using your sizing box.
Okay. All right.
It comes with a foot pedal, so we'll put that down there to use. And it comes with other accessories, but we'll cover those as we go through, because it's quite an in-depth piece of equipment.
Okay.
So to start with, I'll just move that to 16/10 of a second, which we've tested as an 11-inch inflation size with a balloon, and it's on the left-hand nozzle only, right as I'm using it, but left as the viewers see it. And we'll drop our 11-inch latex balloon on there, touch the pedal once, and then we get a perfectly sized inflation, stops automatically, and it's a lot quicker than using a sizing box.
Absolutely, yeah. Using a hand pump, that's a lot slower than that. So you only used one there, but you can do that with two balloons.
You can do that with two balloons?
Two nozzles, two outlets.
If we reduce the time back down to 10/10 of a second, and then click the nozzle over so that both nozzles are working, we've now got lights on left and right nozzle.
Okay.
And then we put both on. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you get both at the same time.
Yeah.
And tie these away into duplets and away you go. Really, really fast.
So that's what that would be for, really, to doing duplets, because...
Duplets, and a lot of people say, well, yeah, well, I don't really use helium duplets anymore, but there's a lot of designs where, like the Cloud 9 design, where you'd want a helium-filled duplets underneath, your 16-inch balloon. So it is still very, very useful.
Yeah.
And of course, really useful if you wanted to attach it to an air machine, and then you've got air-filled air cylinder.
So if you were somewhere that you didn't have access, I was going to say access to an electric pump, but this requires electricity, doesn't it?
It does. You can get an accessory which is a battery pack.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you can get a battery pack to use it, but we don't sell that directly here. You'd have to apply to Conwin.
So that setup then would be perfect for somewhere if you had compressed air and you had your battery pack for this. You could do it in the middle of a field, for instance.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. All right.
So we've got the setting where we can do two, but actually, interestingly enough, we can then change the size of the two settings. So on this occasion, we're going to inflate, and we're going to inflate balloons to two different sizes.
So why would you do that? In what situation would you do that?
So when you duplicate these together, a lot of arch work, you'd want the inner balloon on the bottom of the arch to be smaller than the top.
Ah, right, okay.
For designs like Sue Bowler's wedding catcher.
Yeah.
That was really interesting, and that required, if you use this, great way of doing that. So yeah, really interesting.
That's cool. That's great.
So it doesn't just inflate latex balloons, it'll also inflate foil. So on the back here we have an automatic cut-off foil inflator.
So if this is the automatic foil outlet,
Yep.
then the timer isn't linked to that. You don't need the timer.
Timer's not linked to that.
Because that feels the back pressure, doesn't it?
Exactly. So this element here works off the back pressure, the same as the one that you'd attach to a normal cylinder or the one that attaches to the 10-foot extension hose.
Yeah, okay.
So on this occasion, it sits upright, which is really good for getting the valve started.
Yeah.
It's automatically in the right place to do that.
Yeah.
And because essentially it's exactly the same piece of kit, it's just really usable. Automatically stops, and then you've got that.
I love that.
It's just really cool, isn't it?
It really saves so much in, well, not having burst balloons.
Exactly. So that's that. We also have on here a high pressure outlet. A lot of people are using organic work at the moment, and actually you don't want automatically everything to be exactly the same size.
Yeah.
So you've just got a soft touch push down outlet here, which will allow you to do inflation work like that. And it's ideal for doing fast inflation of bubbles.
Okay.
So we can use...
So when you say that this outlet here is high pressure, does that mean that's not adjusted by this?
It's not. It's before that. It's in line.
So it comes
before
direct
that.
from the cylinder into
Direct
there.
from the cylinder. So this is going to be quite similar to how you actually inflate on a standard push down nozzle.
Yeah. Wow, that's really fast.
Really fast, really good, easy to use.
That scared me a little bit. Yeah, that's so loud, so fast.
Really good for, because it's high pressure,
Yeah.
and it's fast. It's really good for stretching the crease out. Because you want your bubbles to be an ellipse. They don't want to be stretched out to the point that you lose the great print work on your bubbles.
I think that's a really important point, because I think some people do, because you say until the creases are gone, you've got to stop right at that
It's
very
subjective.
second.
If you get really close, you could possibly still see some very fine creases in there.
Yeah.
So it's a subjective thing. What you need to do is to look for an ellipse.
Yeah, it's definitely not supposed to be a sphere.
But this isn't automatically stopping.
Yeah.
I'm controlling this as I normally would.
So this push down part of the nozzle, it's just like a normal one. So if you push it down all the way, it's going to come out faster. If you push it down a little bit, it comes out slower.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you also could do non-round work on there.
Yeah.
So you could inflate 260s, and you think, well, why do you inflate 260s that don't float? But maybe you're doing 260s inside deco bubbles.
Yeah, and everything should be helium inflated if you're putting it in a helium balloon.
So that allows you to do that.
That must do it really quick then. A 260.
You've got control.
Of course you have, yeah.
You've got control. A little tip to get better control, because of the way it's laid out, you've got a nice strong brass bit at the bottom.
Yeah.
If you put a few fingers underneath the nozzle and just control with two at the top,
Yeah.
you've got control from both sides of the nozzle.
We've just talked about it, and I forgot that it was you had the control, but it's because you did that one so fast. That's great. Okay,
Fantastic.
So what else can you do with this? Because let's talk about the price of this. It's quite expensive, isn't it?
Yeah, I think at the time of filming today,
It's January 2018.
so you're around £1,020 plus VAT.
Which is a big investment.
Yeah.
But the benefit of this is the time it saves. isn't
Exactly.
it? So if you are just starting up, it's probably not worth it because you wouldn't have the amount of work coming in straight away. Or would you say?
When you invest, I've changed the way I talk to people. I see lots of people at shows,
Yeah.
Spring Fair in particular, and they're coming into the industry and they're asking me what do I need to spend on my first investment. It's really funny that psychologically people find it easier to invest in their business on day one
that's interesting.
than it does further on.
Yeah.
And especially if you're going to be a few of you, 2-3 people in your business, that time is going to be a factor at some point.
Yeah.
The more work you can do in that space of time, the more you're going to achieve.
And psychologically, if you've invested this much money, you probably want to go out there and get the jobs that require you to use this.
So people find it easier to say, well, I need this for my business and I need professional equipment for my business on day one. The other thing it does, like training does, proper hands-on training, is it allows you to have an element of confidence. One thing it comes with we didn't mention is a nice carry bag.
All right.
And I think there is underestimate this or not, but I think there's a big thing to a client when you walk in with £1,000 worth of professional equipment over your shoulder.
Yeah.
It says a lot about you, your business, what you've invested for, what they're paying for as a customer. So I think that's a really understated benefit of having the equipment.
Yeah, Bag for Life just doesn't send the same message.
It's not the same thing at all, is it? But it doesn't just do that. It also comes with a outlet that allows you to do a double bubble in one go.
All right, so now we're looking at stuff it's actually quite specialised in the balloon. Well, you probably don't think it's specialised, but when you first start out, you show somebody a double bubble, they're always impressed, aren't they?
Yeah.
Still, now.
Yeah.
They're still impressed. So, okay, I look forward to seeing how this works.
So we know that 11-inch balloon was a 1.6 on the time. So on the second outlet, I'm going to move this up to 3.2. And that's because I know that a Qualatex 16-inch takes 3 times the amount of helium as a 16-inch.
But you've only doubled it.
As 11-inch, sorry.
You've only doubled it.
Yes, but I'm having one of the 3 parts on the one outlet.
Oh yeah, because the balloon's in the side.
And then the other one. So you have a longer nozzle for your 11-inch.
Yeah.
And that allows you to easily double stuff into the 16-inch. Okay, and then the second nozzle just tucks inside the neck.
Yeah, that's so clever.
So now, with one touch of the foot pedal, we should be able to get both inflating at the same time.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I've done these manually myself. It takes a lot longer than that to do it. That's fantastic.
So that is very, very quick, consistent, and one of the things that's hard to do doing the other way is to get a consistent inner balloon size.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you start off by inflating the outside to 14-inch and then you inflate the inner to get to your desired size.
Yeah. So you know, because that's been set, that this is exactly 16. And if you're doing 10 of them, you know it's going to be completely consistent all the time.
Exactly. A few other bits to talk about on the machine, which are technologies that Conwin have introduced. These outlets can remove, and I believe you can get a 60/40 mixer outlet that can be attached to there.
Yeah.
This is actually more than just an outlet that's easy, ergonomically designed to put a balloon onto. It's actually a noise reduction outlet.
Ah.
So inside there, there's a material that allows the gas to go through, but deadens the sound, because it can be a little bit scary the first time you
and particularly when you're in a venue and there's like a hotel and there's something else going on and people don't want that noise. That would really help. Okay, great.
Then other accessories that you can get with this that work in line.
Yeah.
I think we should talk about different gas companies and different attachments at this point. Obviously the gas line, I'm going to turn the gas off so we can show you at the back. Obviously when you're using any gas equipment, once you've turned the gas cylinder off, it's still positively pressurised by helium. So I'm gently using the softer outlet. I'm just going to release that pressure, and now it's safe to...
So that's gone down to zero on there.
So that's gone down to zero.
So you know that's safe to take off.
So this is a push snap connector, and this part of the hose, as we say, is a threaded part. If you have a look at that one over there, now this is a product that only BOC will sell, but it's the Genie regulator version.
Okay, yeah.
So this is rated to a 300 bar cylinder as opposed to the 230 bar, which is the standard one that comes with the equipment.
So that would just plug on. We've not got a Genie cylinder here today, but let me hold it.
You'll be a Genie.
I'll be a Genie.
So that would just plug onto the back, and now you've got a...
So it's exactly the same setup, just in a Genie cylinder.
Yeah, exactly.
I am a Genie.
While we've got the gas off, if you had this set up in a workroom, you might also want to use it for doing air and helium at the same, or within, not at the same time, but within close quarters.
Okay.
So Conwin also make a helium nitrogen quick switch, which allows you to attach your helium to one side.
So if this
if you were a
nitrogen
genie.
cylinder, nitrogen genie.
Which they do make. So then you'd be able to turn it from nitrogen back to helium to just quickly change between the two.
Yeah. So just a quick question, when would you use nitrogen?
Over air or over helium. So obviously it won't float.
Yeah.
But nitrogen has less mixed gas in there. It's actually 0.3% lighter than normal air, but the molecules are still big enough to make it hard for them to pass through latex balloons and other forms of balloons.
Okay.
Because it's a consistent molecules that will be bouncing around inside your balloon, you end up with a firm balloon that it doesn't go down quite as quickly. It's not quite as soft, because they're all moving around at the same speed, and it'll just mean that your work lasts a little bit longer. Your air-filled work lasts a little bit longer. We still call it air-filled work, but essentially it'd be nitrogen. They use nitrogen, oxygen-free nitrogen for Formula One tyre inflation.
Ah, right,
For exactly the same reason. It doesn't expand with heat in the same way as air does, or it's more predictable the way it expands with heat. So that would be the reason to use that over air.
Okay.
So that's a separate attachment that you could use. While we're on this end of the equipment, instead of that, if you wanted to use, you've already got a 10-foot extension hose and you wanted to use a trigger outlet, you can buy this 10-foot extension hose adapter, and you can plug that into your helium or air or nitrogen.
Yeah.
Plug that onto the back of the machine, and then
Plug that in there.
Plug that in there.
I know you're a fan of trigger outlets.
I am. If you're inflating, if you have to inflate chloroprenes and you want to inflate an 8-foot balloon, you can do that from that, and you can work away from the machine.
Yeah. Because be it having an 8-foot, we've done it. Having an 8-foot on here, and you need 3 people just to hold it up.
Yeah.
So okay.
But also bubbles. If you're inflating lots and lots of deco bubbles, and you're doing some more of the trickier designs inside, you get used to, you get the feel in your fingers of using a trigger outlet for that.
Yeah.
So this is covered by that as well.
Okay, that's fantastic. And what's this thing here?
So what you've also got here is a high float outlet. So this is to enable you to look after your machine. So if you're high floating balloons correctly and you have no high float in the neck, it's very unlikely that you get residue inside here. However, this is a used machine and you can see tiny bits of high float residue around the outside. At some point that might build up and that might affect the performance of the machine.
Okay.
So what Conwin have produced as an added extra, if you're using this in situ in a workshop or a retail environment, and it's been used predominantly to inflate 11-inch balloons, you can have that set up so you inflate.
I see.
And the balloon's always pointing downwards, which means the high float is never going to run into the machine.
So if you were in a retail environment, then you had different people using high float, this would probably be a safer bet than having that. Okay, that's great, Mark. That's absolutely fantastic. So in summary, is there anything we've missed? Is there anything else?
There's probably lots we've missed. Conwin do some really good instructional videos on their website.
Yes.
So you can have a look at those as well to see actually the time difference, the performance difference from decorating without a digital piece of equipment.
Yeah.
But trust me, this is like, and we always call it this, it's like another employee.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's an employee that you don't have to feed, you don't have to pay. It just keeps turning up to work every single day.
Doesn't take holidays.
Doesn't take holidays. No. It is the best bit of kit that you'll invest in.
Yeah. So in summary, it's going to save you time.
Yes.
You can use it for latex, foil, bubble balloons. You can make the double bubbles.
It's like a test, this is.
I know. I'm trying. You can
bubble.
You can use it on BOC cylinders, air product cylinders, BOC Genie cylinders
with the additional
with additional things. You can use it with nitrogen. You can use it with air.
Yes.
You can use it with helium. You can use it. Have 2 cylinders plugged in with that. You can put the hose on it. That's amazing.
It does a lot for the money.
Yeah.
It isn't the only piece of digital equipment out there, and I think it'd be really good to do some comparisons, and we'll do some other videos comparing it to other pieces of kit. But it's certainly been a very good friend of mine for some time.
Mark, thanks very much.
You're welcome.